Every single day, millions of entrepreneurs wake up and open their doors for business. It's an incredible thought. But here's the crazy part. A huge number of them are destined to shut down forever. And the reason why? Well, it's probably not what you're thinking. We always hear the same old stories, right? Oh, the product was just bad. Or they just ran out of cash. The marketing wasn't there. And look, those things can definitely kill a business, but more often than not, they aren't the real disease. They're just the symptoms of a much, much bigger problem hiding underneath. That's really it. They were just guessing. Kind of like trying to drive across the country with no map, no GPS, just hoping for the best. And let me tell you, in the world of business, guessing is the absolute fastest way to get hopelessly lost. So today, we're going to break down the exact framework that separates the companies that just scrape by from the ones that truly dominate. All right, let's start with the big idea. Imagine you're planning a massive road trip, say from Delhi all the way down to Mumbai. What's the very first thing you do? You don't just jump in the car and start driving south, right? No way. You pull out your phone, you open up Google Maps. That right there is exactly what a strategic plan is for a business. It's literally the first step any smart leader takes when they want to grow. It's all about being intentional. It's about turning that fuzzy dream in your head into an actual, concrete destination on the map. It's how you go from just wandering around to actually navigating. And this whole big idea of strategy really just boils down to answering three simple but super powerful questions. First, who are we? Really? That's your mission. Second, where do we want to be, let's say 10 years from now? That's your vision. And finally, the big one, okay, so how on earth do we actually get there? And those are your goals. Let's look at a real-world example. JioMart, back when they were starting out. What's so brilliant about this is how all three pieces lock together. Their mission, making stuff accessible, is big and inspiring. Their vision, becoming India's largest retail network, is this huge, audacious destination. But their goals, launching in 200 cities, getting 500,000 merchants, those are the specific, measurable first steps on that epic journey. See how that works? It's how a massive idea gets real. Okay, so you've got your map. You know your destination. But a map is pretty useless if you don't know anything about the terrain, the weather, or, all the other cars on the road. A great strategy means you have to understand the world you're playing in. It's time to scan the battlefield. And this whole analysis really breaks down into two fundamental parts. You've got to look outward at the entire competitive landscape, and then you've got to look inward with some brutal honesty at your own company. And luckily for us, there are some incredible proven tools for both. So for looking outside, we use something called Porter's 5 Forces. Now, don't let that kind of academic name scare you off. Just think of it like a 360-degree threat map for your business. It was created by a Harvard professor who basically said, look, there are 5 major forces out there trying to kill your company and steal your profits every single day. You better know what they are. Let's just focus on 2 of the most powerful forces to see how this works. First, the threat of new entrants. Think about the edtech world. It was pretty easy to start a new app, right? So suddenly, bam, dozens of competitors like Unacademy and PhysicsWallah flooded the market. The threat was super high. Now compare that to telecom. You need billions of dollars to even start. The barrier is massive. Then you've got the threat of substitutes, and this one might be the most dangerous of all. Newspapers weren't killed by better newspapers. They were substituted by social media. And Kodak, they weren't killed by better film. They were totally substituted by the camera in your smartphone. Deadly. Okay, so that was looking out. Now to look inward, we use something called SWOT. This is like a simple but incredibly powerful X-ray of your entire business. It's an acronym: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And here's the key. Strengths and weaknesses are internal. They're about you. Opportunities and threats are external. They're about the world around you. And this is brilliant because it shows that this kind of strategic thinking isn't just for massive billion-dollar companies. A local chai stall has strengths, right? Like loyal customers who come every day. It has weaknesses, like being cash only. It has opportunities, like, hey, what if we started adding snacks? And it definitely faces threats, like a brand new Starbucks opening up down the street. Once you lay all this out, you can set much smarter goals. Your analysis is now directly connected to your plan. So just to recap, we have a destination, we understand the terrain, but a car can't get very far without any fuel. And for a business, that fuel is money. So now it's time to connect that big, grand strategy to the day-to-day reality of your budget. And this right here, this is the point where everything becomes real. A brilliant, world-changing vision without any money allocated to it is just a fantasy. It's a nice thought. Your budget is what turns the strategy from a piece of paper into an actual thing. It's the bridge from the blueprint to the building. And out of all the different kinds of budgets, the cash budget is king. Seriously, it's the one most small businesses completely ignore, and it's often the very reason they die. Here's why. A company can be profitable on paper, but still go bankrupt because it runs out of actual physical cash. It all comes down to timing. Just look at this story. A uniform maker gets a big order. In May, they buy all the fabric. That's cash out. In July, they have to pay their workers. That's more cash out. In August, they deliver the uniforms, but they don't get paid yet because the school pays on credit. It's not until September that the cash finally comes in. For 4 whole months, that business was just bleeding money. A cash budget sees that gap coming from a mile away, so you can prepare for it, instead of getting that horrifying surprise when you can't pay your bills. So let's bring this all home. Why go through all this trouble? Why create all these documents and do all this analysis? Well, because the ultimate advantage in business isn't about being perfect. It's about being prepared.
Nobody, and I mean nobody, can predict the future. Zomato had no idea a global pandemic was coming. Maruti didn't see a worldwide chip shortage on the horizon. But because they had robust plans, because they had strong finances, because they had already thought through different what-if scenarios, they could adapt. They could navigate the storm while other businesses sank.
And really, that's the final idea I want to leave you with. The real goal of all this, the strategy, the analysis, the budgeting, is to make sure that when the unexpected thing inevitably happens, your business isn't a victim of surprise. It is a master of readiness. And that, my friends, is the difference between guessing and winning.